The Spin-Off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Kia ora, this is Toby Manhire, here to urge you to tune in to Gone by Lunchtime, a podcast with me, Annabelle Lee Mather and Ben Thomas, tackling the world of New Zealand politics, from policy to polling, from scandal to psychodrama. Listen to Gone by Lunchtime, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network, wherever good pods are sold.
A dinner party.
Yeah.
Oh, for God's sake.
Welcome to the Real Pod.
Welcome to the Real Pod, everybody. Mum's gone. I've had a real week of being abandoned by my work parents, actually. It's very stressful.
But you've become like the new work mum.
I sort of have, eh? You've been in Sydney for what feels like 3 months.
Yeah, it felt like we did about that. But did you enjoy it?
I did. What we're referencing is the fact that Duncan and Toby and basically the entire senior staff, Catherine and Kerry-Ann, left the spin-off, and I was at the helm with an editorial sub-team. This is the Real Pod, though. This isn't the spin-off kind of insider.
But people want to know about Alex's life, and Alex has had a crazy life this week.
It's been all right.
Have you done any sleep?
No, not much. I got two ice cold fizzies that you brought me. I was very grateful for the tropical edition and just the regular Red Bull.
Shaking it up.
Should we do the normal bit? This is a
podcast about reality TV and real life in New Zealand.
Brought to you by Nando's. You would have missed Nando's this week.
I did. I saw a Nando's, and I was going to try and get someone to take a picture of me, but they were all sort of serious, and so I was too shy.
What do you mean?
Like
everyone on the street?
They're all my colleagues are sort of serious people, and they don't want to take photos of me outside of Nando's for the internet. It was quite disappointing. But I saw it and I thought of it, and I was super jealous when I saw in Slack that Nando's came yesterday for I don't know why. To smite me or spite me?
Skålsträcken för klimaten. Well, I wasn't quite sure who would be here who wouldn't today, so I thought, let's get the chicken out of the way.
Yeah, okay.
And it was delicious. Let me make that clear. Last week you'd all lovingly remember that we had vegan Nando's, which was also delicious. But I got to say, having that cheesy bread back, it really made a big difference. Thank you very much to Nando's. They help this podcast exist. Let's go give them some love. Buy some cheesy bread. Buy some chicken. Our hashtag is #RealPod on all social media channels.
Well, is it?
Or
when was the last time you typed it?
Not even into the start.
We're bad at that.
I think hashtag's over.
Hashtag climate strike?
Well, this is the thing. Today, I don't know what the official hashtag is because there's school strike for climate. Oh. You know what I mean? I don't want to detract from the point here at all. But you need to get your hashes sorted, don't you?
We'll work on it.
But ours is definitely #RealPod.
Yeah.
Our Facebook page is facebook.com/TheRealPodPod. Instagram, TheRealPodPod as well. We have a private group, very exclusive, nearly up to 1,000 members.
It's such a lovely place.
It's a beautiful place called the Real Pod Corner. I also I got in trouble because I forgot to mention that it's such a lovely place that there is now a subgroup called the Real Pod. What is it called? Hold on. Real Pod Secret Santa group.
What?
This year. They are doing a whole inside situation. So if you want to be involved in that, sign up. Not if you're weird, not if you've only just started listening. Actually, no. We welcome that. All people, really.
I don't know. I think you got to earn your stripes.
You got to kind of know the history, you know. Yeah. You got to know the iconography. Coming up on the podcast, we don't know.
I think it is. It has been a tough week with Jane and Chi-Town having Nando's.
She is having Nando's, and she is inspecting the famous corn, the big corn, buildings.
No?
Yes!
Are these like grain?
The corn cobs.
What?
The corn cobs of Chi-Town.
Is this like to do with the Chicago Mercantile Exchange?
Mercantile? No.
Oh.
Corn cobs of Chicago.
Oh, no, it's not.
Jason, look at that. I mean, I don't know why you're talking about Americans.
Don't look at me. I wasn't talking about Americans.
Mark that down.
I was talking about commodity trading.
So Jane's gone.
And Alex has been in charge of the spin-off.
You've been at Facebook.
I've been at Facebook.
Do you want to talk a bit about what you were doing there? Because at least 2 people have asked for some media analysis from Duncan Grieve this week.
Wow, I'm flattered. We are in Australia to participate in this Facebook Accelerator program to try and get more sort of modern, I guess. It's
rude?
It is a bit rude. No, it's actually really amazing. It's really humbling. Basically, we've got these coaches who are just these amazing genius people who run revenue for the Financial Times and the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, and they're just way too good for us. And there's these 11 news organizations ranging from The Guardian and News Corp who fully hate each other really nakedly, and they're all in the same room, and it's quite buzzy and fun. Down to people like us in Newsroom, and we're all just trying to learn how to. The goal is basically the subtext is Facebook saying, you know how you used to make heaps of money from advertising? Well, that was cute, but now we make all the money from advertising. So you need to make money from your readers to exist. And it's yeah, that's actually true. So thank you for your help, kind sir. So we're all in this room getting coached, and it's real fun, but really you're given so much information. You're realizing so many things that you just don't even think about that are literally mission critical for you to figure them out. And it's 8-hour days, and then you're just extremely on the whole time. So we're doing that for the next 12 weeks, going over to Sydney 3 times, and it's all pretty
Wait, what?
hard out. Yeah. Did you not know? You're going to be in charge 3 times. Did I tell you that?
No, that's breaking news.
There you go.
That's breaking news on the Real News.
That's
Great.
right. Just get some fizz up here.
Oh, I haven't slept.
It's all right. It's all right.
Never sleep again.
You don't have to do anything again until November.
I just realised I am a catastrophizer
No, you're not.
this week.
No, you're not.
No, I am. Every time I publish a piece, I was like, we're getting cancelled. I don't care what's in it.
No, because
I don't care how many people have read it.
I don't reckon you are. I reckon you do some comedy catastrophizing, but it's not deep and real. Because I've seen
Talk
real
to me at 4 a.m. bloody 2 nights ago.
real catastrophizers are quite, they can't even use humor as a weapon to hack through it.
Well,
maybe.
So
well, you did a hell of a
grateful
job.
to have the opportunity to work on it for the next 12 weeks. It's all good.
It's only 2 day, two more 2-day things. You're a third of the way in.
Okay.
The next one's not till November. We'll probably all be dead by then. Cheer up.
We had actually, you missed something incredible, and the cornies will know about this already if you're in the Real Pod Corner. When did it happen? A couple of days ago, I was just sitting at my desk, my boss desk, doing my boss work, and Ethan and Sam from the block walked into the office.
Apropos of nothing.
Apropos of nada, and just sort of said, Real Pod? And I shot out of my desk, and I was like, what's going on? I made everyone give them a standing O for bloody being robbed and also just being good lads. And they gave us an artefact for the Real Pod Museum.
Show me.
It is the working sketch from their Colin Meads mural that they did at Eden Park. And it's so cool. And it's properly framed from that place down in Kings.
Is that art?
Well, I think it's art.
I reckon it vibes like art. You know what I mean?
It feels like art. It's...
Like, you know how art nowadays isn't all pretty?
Yeah.
I reckon that.
It's got twink on it. It's kind of. Yeah, I know what you mean. It's also got the phone numbers of some of Colin Meads' family members on it. So that's good. Just hang that up. And
that's that and the buff. Have we got a buff? Oh, what have we got?
I asked JT.
I don't know what a buff is.
No. The Survivor buff.
Well,
What are you talking about? The neck thing?
well, I didn't know what a buff was. I thought it might have been the vote.
Oh, oh yeah. No, what we have is a vote.
Okay.
What we don't have
those
is a vote.
two are, they're right. That and the ring, that's the Holy Trinity.
It's really amazing. I mean, we don't want to undermine Larissa's fondant, though.
Shit, no.
I've got a Tupperware of fondant in my desk drawer that is still good. Still good a year on. But there's also been rumblings of a very corny Christmas 2.0.
Yeah, no, that's happening.
It's happening.
That's happening.
So you'll be able to see that. We'll have all of our artifacts on display. But those boys, man, amazing. They just said, they're up here for Auckland to do something. Oh, they were doing a boot camp with the person who, ran their Give a Little. That was part of. They came up and did a funny boot camp with her or something like that for the culture.
That's how much did they get from that in the end?
I don't know.
It was
a bit.
Fuckload, eh?
And they were like, we were just driving past and we realised you had asked for something for your museum, and they bought a frame for this and gave it to us. So
that's the boy. They truly are the people's champs. Hey, I just remembered the other my fun story about Facebook. So we went to this real flash restaurant called Mr. Wong's, and it was it was just the craziest place. So there was a little I really like the Facebook people that we deal with, while remaining agnostic about Facebook as an organisation. But they have so much money, it's real fun. I tried to. They had this vending machine with AirPods in it, and you just swiped your pass, and I was like, I wonder if they've just forgotten to turn off the passes. So I was trying to swipe my guest pass, but it didn't work. It didn't get me AirPods. But basically, I went around a whole table of Australians. Just guessing based on vibe whether they watched Married at First Sight Australia. Around 8 people. Mm-hmm. Guess what I got?
Was it 100%?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Picked the 3 that watched it. I was so proud. It was
how could you
little
pick?
parky trick. It's actually surprisingly easy. Because journalists are either real serious kind of, we're here to fight the good fight, or they just kind of, like us. Those are the 2 types of journalists. And, you can just sort of tell by how they do their hair or whether they're dressed properly. If their jumper's on backwards, they probably watch Married at First Sight Australia.
It's true.
Got food in their teeth, Married at First Sight Australia, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I was so proud. And even the ones who hated me and Married at First Sight Australia were grudgingly impressed by my unerring accuracy.
That's an amazing talent. Did they have any critiques, any thoughts?
Well, 2 of them were from West Australia, which is where a lot of the freaks of reality TV come from. You think of your Tracys and your Telvs and your Brooks and so on, real iconic characters, so they outperform per head of population. So one of them had this amazing story. So she was basically getting her haircut, and there was this person next to her talking about, I'm going to be going away for 3 weeks, won't be able to see my family or even talk to them. She was like, that sounds like reality TV. And then 3 weeks later, it's freaking Jess.
Oh my God.
It was great. It was legit tea.
Shit. Well, what was her relationship to Jess, sorry?
She was just next to her at the hairdresser.
Oh.
But she was a hairdresser, and she had lovely hair.
Ah, she does have lovely hair. That's amazing. Did they have anything? I think Married at First Sight New Zealand last season has just started playing in Australia because Slevo keeps going on about it.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe it's on regional channel, Triangle TV or something. We have also had we've had a lot of celebrity sightings flooding in this week from the corn crop. Zoe Faye, a cornie who also I went to high school with, shout out Zoe, sat next to Rose from Married at First Sight on the plane.
Rose,
current Rose.
Rose.
Calvin Cruikshank's wife, Rose.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sat next to her.
On a plane.
What did they talk about?
On a flight to Napier. She is really nice and smells lovely. And then the cornies had all these questions. What's wrong with that? You can imagine, though, that she has a strong perfume.
Totally, yeah. You'd probably be a few lanes away and still...
Sage, etc.
Yeah. Brush? Is that a sandalwood?
Almost certainly. She was wearing her wedding ring, and her aura was phenomenal, according to Zoe Faye.
Yeah.
I would love to sit next to Rose for a bit. I just want to know. I want to know how she met Calvin. I want to know all about that.
I just love how, aggressively unattracted she is to Christopher.
Yeah.
But was obviously insanely horny for Kelvin. Like, because I went and rewatched, in that Repressed Memories, where that I just rewatched that little section where Kelvin just talks about he's really like wants me to grow a mustache.
Yeah.
It's so weird. Like, how do you get married to that?
Yeah. How do you meet that? Well, Jane could have met him at the airport, of course.
That is fucked up.
Another airport sighting. Gaz from the corner saw Jeff from the Great Kiwi. Oh no, it's not an airport at all. I read the word AirPods, ironically, and thought it said airport. I haven't slept. Jeff from the Great Kiwi Bake Off at the supermarket. He had AirPods in. I can only assume he was working on the follow-up to his beer song while he was shopping.
Jeff the eye boy.
Jeff the eye boy.
Holy shit, that's a big one.
Jeff with the eyes. It's actually huge.
Somebody eyes.
No, everybody eyes on Jeff. So it's a joke for the room there. I just realised we didn't play the sting.
Oh, do you have the sting?
I don't even have the stings on my telephone. I downloaded a weird app. My phone was on 1%.
1%?
Like 5 minutes before we were supposed to start the podcast. This is why Jane can't go.
No.
But I told the Cornies, I told them to alert the police and the local authorities because it was going to be an Alex Duncan pod and we didn't have Jane. So if you're listening to this, you know.
We're just talking.
We're just talking. Any more real news to report? I've just got it all from the corner, basically. For someone who's been running a website this week, I haven't got a lot of news to share. There is the Guy Williams.
Oh,
we haven't talked about that.
No, should we talk about that? You broke the story.
Broke the story. Did we publish that on Monday?
Yeah, it feels like forever
ago. Where they pulled episode 2 of New Zealand Today after they were made aware of allegations against somebody who was involved in that particular episode in a particular segment, and they chose to pull down the episode and they removed all the clips from it. And we saw it on Reddit probably sometime last week, and I think they had been made aware just a couple of days prior, but they pulled it down. I understand that it is being re-edited and they're going to put it back up at some stage.
It's an unfortunate situation. I mean, like New Zealand TV Today, I think is really good. Like, it's so pacey and guys deserved that vehicle for such a long time.
It's so funny.
And he's just so brave. It's almost like he isn't brave. Like, he doesn't feel a lot of the normal human kind of hold you back emotions, and he'll just go straight into anything. But it also, the structure of the show and guys kind of bowl up to any one personality mean that it was near inevitable that something like this was going to happen. But I feel real bad. I feel bad for MediaWorks generally, because just bad shit keeps happening to them, and real good shit keeps happening to TVNZ, and it's just almost like not fair. But with this one, like, it was such a minor character and so essentially unforeseeable that it's just a stink thing to have happened. I'm glad that they're going to recut it, because it's not like this is like qualitatively different to what happened to them with MAFS, where, I mean, with that they couldn't have known, but there's something in the format of the show which sort of recognizes that as a possibility, maybe even a probability in the aggregate, whereas this was just a perfect dark storm.
Yeah, and within 4 weeks of the MAFS thing as well, it's just bad timing.
It just keeps happening. It just must be so hard to work through that. Like, I know people in comms and executive there, and it's just when you know what it's like on a much more kind of spin-off scale level, but when stuff just keeps coming at you and you're like, how do you gut it out? So yeah, thoughts and prayers, MediaWorks.
It's totally that thing as well, though. As soon as something's missing and people notice something's missing, it's just a big deal. Like, it's I don't know if like there was a different way to do it, really. I think, like NZNS said they thought they made the right decision, just pulling it all down. But I think there was a lot of, it was also kind of difficult in publishing it, because obviously you have to be quite careful legally with these sorts of things. That it created a bit of like, I got a lot of people messaging me being like, what is it? Because we didn't want to,
say what it was.
We didn't want to say exactly what it was because it was a difficult thing to corroborate.
Yeah, inherently. Yeah, and I think that's one of those things that where I feel like sometimes members of the public, not cornies, who I think are quite sophisticated media consumers, but they don't necessarily understand defamation and reporting and some of the kind of the different standards you're held to on when you do like a tweet or a Reddit comment versus publishing a story on a site.
But hey, there's still got a couple more episodes to go.
Yeah, watch it.
So I've got a bit to catch up on, actually.
9:45 p.m. Fridays on 3. Great slot.
Great.
Auspicious slot.
Great slot.
Where the magic happens.
It's because we left a curse in that slot, isn't it?
Just on our way, just laid down a steaming curse in the corner.
Sometimes I forget that the spin-off TV happened. I was talking in the corner the other day about like some of your favourite reality TV moments ever, and then someone just commented the spin-off TV, and I just had like oh shit, that's right, that's
the
crazy.
whole TV show.
Just like a cheese dream. Moving on.
Alex just dropped 4 inches in her chair. Just then.
Shall we talk about reality TV? Should we play a sting?
We often do that.
Tina, can you play a sting in post? Yes. Reality. Oh, we could do. Let's reenact reality check. The sting.
I can't do that.
No, we can just do the little.
Oh yeah. I am disgusted by how much you have copied my husband.
I have 4 weeks to decide if I have to give up my entire fucking life for you. Did you just fart? Reality check.
Did we miss
There's
one?
something else.
I think there's one we missed.
What did we miss, Tina?
There's like that kind of an invisible one that we only found out was there after like a year, and it's real good. Anyway.
The mysteries of the deep. Huh? Tina has a producer that doesn't listen to the stings.
I can't hear Jane play the sting.
Should we talk about Treasure Island quickly? You haven't watched it, Duncan.
Yeah, explain it to me.
I watched it. Aghast. Do you want to know? Can I just tell you who won? Duncan doesn't know who won yet.
But can you recap the last 2 weeks for me,
so
like a mini montage?
Here was the build up to the finale. Shannon Ryan.
Can I tell you the last thing I know so you can go from there? So basically, the last episode I watched was, it was like Sunday a week ago because I was away and there were no like it was geo-blocked and what have you. But it seemed like Shannon had been on this amazing run of just like smashing dudes. She had like 1 million views. She looked kind of crazy. And I was like, have I been missing one of the great reality TV performances of all time? And then bam, I don't know anything since then, which is like 5 episodes ago.
So Shannon continued that streak. It was incredible. She knocked out. Sam Wallace put her up for elimination like 1 million times in a row, just every night back up there. She knocked out Moses. She knocked out 4 people, I think. Moses. She knocked out 2 Olympians. Just casually. And the Moses one was the worst one where they had to balance their feet. I don't know if we talked about that last week. Anyway, she was on the craziest streak. She had all the clues. She also had the biggest target on her back you could ever imagine. But everyone was just sort of hoping and praying she could just keep winning challenges and get to the end. It didn't happen. Oh. It didn't happen. She went home and we were left.
Why did she go home?
Because she got put up once more, maybe for the 4th or 5th time.
It's
every single night.
Fuck to keep doing that. It was always
against
Sam?
Athena.
Athena seemed low-key incredible.
Athena was a puzzle beast. And that was, and I feel like she didn't really make a lot of the edits or anything. That was kind of like, I didn't know. I was just assumed she wasn't going to make it to the end, but she beat Shannon at this crazy puzzle challenge, which was like, those like wooden rings that you stack like a pyramid that babies have in that. It was like that, but there were 3 like rods and you had to get that whole pile to the last one. But you could never have a smaller one under a bigger one. It was total chicken fox thing. And it freaked me out. I was like staring at it. It was so funny watching like The Wiz.
Imagine having The Wiz doing it.
The Wiz just staring. And Sam Wallace, because Sam has been very open about how he's not good at puzzles. Just like you could like see him like
his
steaming.
CPU overheating.
Just completely glitching, like trying to watch these women. They were both like amazing at it, but Athena was better. And then it's just like, it's so anticlimactic. Shannon goes home. We're left with Shane Cameron, The Wiz, Sam Wallace, and Athena.
And that's the final.
And that is the kind of final. So then they go out on a boat. Chizzy takes them on a pirate ship to Treasure Island. And on that boat, they have to do this real gnarly knockout challenge to get down to the final 3 where they were in like a medieval like kind of torture cage thing, hanging with their arms suspended out, like over the sides, and they had to hold big coins between their fingers for as long as they could without dropping them. And they were out there
so difficult
for like
on your forearms.
hours. It was like, I think they were there for like 75 minutes. Athena got knocked out, obviously.
Oh.
You know, it's like, it's so unfair that you get to that point and then the last thing is like a strength. You know, it's just like,
just sort of dude thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's just a dude thing. And so, and then it was just the Wiz and Shane Cameron. Sam Wallace had won the right to sit out, of course. He was just sitting there being like, so glad I'm not doing this. And that was just his commentary the whole time. It was like pissing down with rain. Oh, and the other thing, they started adding coins to their forehead as well. Like when they were like, you guys are too good at this, it's taking too long.
Yeah,
So
we don't have that much tape.
They just started covering them in coins. It was really funny. But then the Wiz was kind of like, Shane, if I drop my coins, are you gonna take me through? Like, you're not gonna eliminate me? And Shane was like, yeah, mate.
Well, because did Shane have the Mystique card or whatever it's called?
I don't know.
I don't know anything.
Did Shane have the Mystique card?
Well, you know, what's that one that they didn't use on...
the winner got to decide who went home. Yes. No.
What? No. I thought you said Athena...
Maybe he said, Shane, if I drop my coins, are you going to, like, stick with me? Are you going to, like, help me get, like, we're going to work together, kind of?
But how?
Because Shane has all... Oh, that's the other thing. Shannon gave Shane all her clues.
Why Shane?
Because he's a sweet man. And look at the other...
He is a sweet
look
man.
who she's got left.
But good to Athena. Solidarity.
Well, I think she kind of realised Athena was probably going to go.
Oh. It just has to be Sam. She hates Sam.
The Wiz will pants it. You know, you can't give them to the Wiz.
Well, this is amazingly funny.
The Wiz will just eat all the clothes like straight away.
I was
hungry. Sam Wallace, demon. So yeah, she has more to Shane. So Shane had all the clues. That was the thing. So Wiz was like, will you kind of help me? You've got all the clues. I've got nothing. Like, if I drop these coins. Anyway, so that was where we got. And then the finale's worth watching because it is extremely funny. These 3 men just going fucking psycho, doing like what is essentially like a children's Easter egg hunt.
But also, okay, I don't mean this in a bad way, but it's not like any of them were the brain boxes of the show.
No, not at all. And I think they'd all endorse that, like Shane. One of the real funny things in the semi-final challenge, they had to do a swim out to a buoy, get puzzle pieces, blah, 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 put together a puzzle. And Chizzy was like, this is a phrase that I have said a lot throughout the show and no longer say.
Oh, I saw that one.
Did you see that one?
Was Shannon and Athena still in it? Or
they were still in it.
Yeah, I love that
the funniest, and so it was like...
Because then they made it their way ahead of them, and then Shannon just was like...
Yeah.
That was fucking great.
But it was like, it was some phrase like, this is the captain's game or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And it just showed an aerial shot of Shane Cameron, and he had just written, head wheat. Just head wheat. So anyway, I love Shane Cameron, but when it got to those final moments, so Sam Wallace at that point was just going ham, like he was going absolutely psycho. He was way out ahead. They had to do a whole bunch of things, like going back and forth, getting trinkets.
Are you telling me that Sam won?
Well, yeah, I am.
Oh,
I am. But it was also the build-up to Sam Wallace winning that was really funny because Shane, basically everything led them, all their clues led them to a graveyard that had all these tombstones on it. Yeah, and they had to figure out all the clues led to the name in which the money was buried. And Shane had all the clues. He had everything and he was there. Sam Wallace didn't have all the clues, hadn't seen some of them before. He just got some at the last minute and was kind of frantically trying to figure it out. Shane Cameron had everything. He had everything for a while. And he read one, and it was something like, the English love me, but I'm not from their land. I am hot, but some find me bland. And the answer was tea, and it was for the grave that was like tea penny. And Shane Cameron just read it and was like, walnuts. and then started sprinting around trying to find a walnut. And he's like, Wiz, walnuts. And then Wiz was fucked. He was just running. Wiz missed the graveyard completely and just like sprinted past. It's really, really funny to watch. Like, they're just hapless idiots. You can see them almost like looking at the crew, like just being like, it must have been so funny to film. But yeah, so then Wiz and Shane tried to like partner up. Neither of them just knew anything. They didn't even realize that they were looking for names.
Oh my God.
Sam was digging.
That's
digging
why
graves.
it's crazy just to have had the 3 like beefcakes.
I know. But it was quite funny TV. They were actually quite smart. They were like, well, let's just look for the graves, the soil that's like disturbed around a grave, like,
Yeah.
Which I thought I was like, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but makes sense. Meanwhile, Sam was just kind of digging up everything he could. And then
he was just going random process of like just try and dig up all the graves.
He had figured out what it was, but the other thing was like a lot of them had basically all the same. It was like there was only one kind of word separating them. Like you had to kind of have all the clues in your head in this particular
Right.
So it was quite difficult. But Sam won. And the reason he won was that he was like, I'm getting, in his little talking head, he's like, I'm getting too flummoxed, I'm too stressed. So I decided to think back and I channeled Shannon Ryan and I took a deep breath in and a deep breath out and then I realised which one it was. And I was like, fucking Shannon Ryan came through again. Like, she's not even here.
Not even here.
And she
Still
got her
the win.
enemy to the finish line.
Don't you think out the back of this that like, I don't think enough people watched it. Like, it didn't grip the nation, but had it, I feel like Sam Wallace's market value would have like diminished. I mean, he's
I will say by the end of it, because it's like you forget as well, I think, that even though they try and remind you as often as possible, I think you sometimes forget why they're there. And Sam had such a strong family connection to his charity that you could actually tell in those final kind of moments that he was going real hard out. Whereas, like, I don't want to talk shit about Gary, but like he was like Big Buddies NZ or whatever, like it was just like, it didn't quite have the same weight as Sam, who was like, trying to raise money for the charity that like saved his nephew. Yeah. So I feel like actually it was kind of, there was like a little bit of a redemption, and there is that kind of Survivor thing, which is like, if you win, you win, and that's the game. And like,
true.
Good on you. But yeah, he was pretty bad for a lot of the season. He was like comically bad. Like, it was because he was so open about being like, simple Sam. But and I watched for the first time the Maddie's ejection, which was that was a lot of emotion. It's a lot, eh?
Yeah.
And it feels like it comes out of nowhere.
Yeah. It just hits him like this deluge.
Yeah. But there were some great moments. Like, I really enjoyed the season. I assume they won't do it again.
I think they could.
Do you reckon?
Well, it's just, could you get a cast that good again?
Maybe they could go, well, we need to get Max.
Yeah.
Need to get Max for
Or is
season 2.
I think Max might have just like aged out. Like, he's proven so elusive. I just wonder if he can ever live up to the hype of getting him,
That's true.
But anyway, it's another big reality win for TV2. Good on them.
It is. And hey, still casting for The Bachelorette. Any blokes out there? Feels like they might be desperate. Like, someone sent there's some posters up around gyms and stuff, and like,
geez.
I think they're having real trouble filling that all the men slots, which is grim. It's like, put your hand up.
But it also, you think about getting 24 guys who look sort of normal and, can be on TV in New Zealand after we've had so many shows. They'll definitely have to recycle some, like, Heartbreak Island. Like, they should just be like,
Fly some in.
Yeah.
Fly some in from Australia. It's always how you do it.
Yeah, just half Australians is fine. Make it like a Clash of the Codes kind of trans-Tasman bloody thing.
What?
Have you heard about what they're doing with fucking bloody Bachelorette in Australia?
Oh, bringing the brother in?
Yes.
That's
the Australians
real news.
were just talking non-stop about that. That's crazy.
It's so smart.
And the person is ex-Gogglebox.
What do you mean?
The Bachelorette was on Gogglebox the previous season. Had only ever been seen in trackies, and then they were like
glammed her up,
and then chucked out the undercover brother. Like, they're so smart at reality TV in Australia.
It's like, once you think they've done it all,
But why don't we try and do some buzzy shit? We just have like five couples? I mean, let's get into it, eh?
Yeah.
Kia ora. Excuse this interruption to your current podcast listening. You're listening to Jenna Todd,
Karen Dass and Louisa Cossa.
and we are the Paper Cuts podcast, the podcast all about books.
It's like being part of the best book group in town, but you don't have to leave the house.
You can drink that whole bottle of wine to yourself.
So jump over to Paper Cuts and give us a listen. And then, maybe read some books. Read a book or something. So you can find us on the spin-off and you can subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts.
Who should we talk about first? It was a great week on MAFS this week. Let me just say that. I was like, there's a lot of drama. There was a lot of extremely funny moments. There was a dinner party.
Yeah.
First ever one.
But there were a lot of funny moments, but there was also still that really specific MAFS New Zealand tone of unease
Oh, yeah.
and unpleasantness and bad vibes.
The cinema of unease, for sure. Should we just go couple by couple?
Yeah.
Stefan and Vicky. I feel so sorry for both of them.
Yeah.
I think Vicky is very much pretending that she sees a future with Stefan.
I can't tell whether she's desperately trying to convince herself or desperately trying to convince us. It's one of the two.
Or she's trying to protect his feelings.
No, but even in the moments.
Yeah, but she's aware. There was that brouhaha in Fiji where they talked about, how she had conversations about being worried about how she's coming across, and she spent kind of 5 minutes talking about how she really doesn't care about how she's coming across.
Yeah.
But I do feel like she does, and I think that would bleed into even her
in the
private
moments.
interviews.
Yeah. Okay, in that case, I think she's trying to protect her own reputation and him.
Not hurt his feelings.
And not hurt his feelings.
Because
she's very physically affectionate with him. Like in a kind of arm strokey, lie across each other kind of way. But not... I'm sure, and they've done sex.
Well, she said we've had intimacy.
No,
that was the raunchiest dinner party conversation I have ever seen in my whole life.
It was crazy.
That's why you don't do 2 tequila shots before you sit down for a lovely meal.
I think even by Australian MAFS standards, that was one of the booziest situations I've ever seen.
I was actually like, is this allowed?
Yeah.
Is this actually allowed on television?
Because there were times when you're like even just there are like rules about how you present alcohol consumption, and that felt dangerously close to shit. It's a good time. You can get bloody wrecked and have a chat. Like it wasn't very tasteful.
But the reason I say that about Vicky is because I have my reservations too until you see her interacting with everyone else, and you see the way she talks to James and Jordan. And it's completely different. And the experts said that. They were like, she's not even...
The way they called her out.
She can't even look at Stefan.
Yeah. I thought that was quite intense. But it was... But it seemed amazing to me that she had the sort of the gall to just deny it. But no, I'm fully normal as.
Yeah, I love it.
He's so great.
Yeah.
Thanks to my great husband, experts.
It's a lie big every time.
And just stay with the lie. That's the lesson of 2019.
She's in so deep. And they went on their lovely hike/tramp along a paved footpath.
Well, the
tramping.
dam was nice.
Yeah.
Like the dam.
That's right. It's not really a hike, is it? It's not like...
Wow. There's a rahui, Just be careful. I'm assuming they didn't break it.
They did go off the track, and I was like, wash your shoes.
Wash.
Wash everything. Go for a swim in the dam. And on the way was when Stefan just kind of said, I love you. Which was so funny and out of nowhere.
And it was very like... and then immediately seemed to not regret it or have fear out of it. It was... Oh.
Somebody told me, I have no idea who, I have no idea how I have this information in my head, that they know someone on MAFS. Oh my God, how do I know this? I'm protecting my sources because I literally can't remember. That Stefan is way less awkward than he is on camera, and he's been stitched up. But I'm also like, he still did all those things. Like,
yeah. He seems on camera to be like unsurvivably awkward for someone like Vicky.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what's hellishly annoying is that there was no footage of the Vicky Jordan. How did that happen? Or do you think that maybe that was with the other couple?
I feel like they've lost. They must have lost some stuff. But then if you think back to last season, they never filmed at night. They never filmed the kind of when they would have those real boozy. Remember, like Ben and Aaron always had some like blow ups the next day from an unseen thing. I just think they genuinely don't send cameras. They don't have cameras there. They clock off.
Just how does that not? Because that footage sounded like it would be incredible, and it was also almost like necessary because we had no sense of what the proportion of what happened was. Like, was it just a little bit of lying near while you were hosed, or was it like rubby? You know, they get a bit rubby.
Yeah, I know. It's a damn shame. But, you know, they tried to fix it that time. Remember, they tried to leave a camera running in the couch cushions. Look how that turned out.
Complained.
They can't possibly pay people to film this show.
Not more.
Don't be insane.
It would.
We'll just get them to recap it. Stefan and Vicky, yeah, not great. James and Carmen. I would just like to go on the record and formally apologise for every bad thing I said about James and Carmen. At their wedding, Tina, I think we were completely wrong. What do you reckon? No? You still got doubts?
Yeah.
A little bit. They're posting on Instagram, he's in a face mask with her, and he's like, Wednesdays are for the girls. I genuinely believe that James has changed.
Yeah. Well, I think that James, I'm a huge, I'm a believer. Big time. I think they're so freaking cute together. And I think he's like a classic New Zealand archetypal bloke who, when he's around like a group of men who have a particular kind of social worldview, he will kind of conform to that, potentially without even particularly questioning it hard that one way or another, but certainly without believing it on any fundamental level. It just doesn't go that deep. And when he is taken out of that atmosphere and put into a relationship like of real meaning, and they just are. They're like peas in a pod, you know. They really work together. They're just so sweet. Even like the hazard board and the chickens and
yeah, that's right.
It's like that's real smart relationship stuff, you know. I just love them.
In the pole dancing class, he's so graceful.
He's very good at it.
He was very good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really loved it. And as they say, I feel like we're going to get... James says that he doesn't like to say I love you until 2 years. But I feel like I feel like he's fighting himself on that one, to be honest. And also they were like, if it wasn't for them, that dinner party would not have been anywhere near as interesting because they arrived probably couple drinks in.
Couple of
drinks in, had some shots, and then just instantly started like interrogating everyone. And kind of power to them, like they're feeling empowered, they're loving it about their sex lives, which, you know, no one else is on their level. No one else is even remotely close to their level.
No one else has. I mean, well, there's
oh my God, I totally forgot about Anna and Jordan.
There's a little bit in Anna and Jordan, is what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It's something sexy about
her music. Oh my God. There's too much to talk about. Should we talk about Anna and Jordan before we get on to the baddies? The
baddies. Yeah.
What did they do? They went in a fast car?
Oh, yeah.
They went in a fast car?
I feel like he could have given it more tow. I wonder if they were... You know, I just think that for a stock car driver...
like 180?
Yeah, but...
Is that nothing?
I feel like at Hampton Downs you could easily go 230 or something. Just because, I mean, he'll be very good at... I don't know. I felt like he was holding it back for her and for the...
Do you think it's a health and safety?
Maybe there's a health and safety thing, but that was fine, I guess. That scene where she told him about the...
Oh,
so that's so tense and the sex tape stuff.
It's so dark.
Like, did she get revenge porn and then she's still in some like slavery record contract?
The
with
way
the
that
person?
It's been framed as a scandal, and also Because at first I was sort of like, it was sort of framed to me as like this empowering, like, yeah, I've made a sex tape. It might come out. Just deal with it. But it doesn't sound like that.
There's two ways of reading it, right? So there's like, one is, I was in a relationship with this man. We consensually made a sex tape, and he sent it to some friends, and I didn't mind it within the confines of the relationship at that time, but it does mean that there's this thing that could happen. That's the sort of the best case scenario consent-based reading. The worst case scenario is there was a sex tape made, which I think she was aware of at the time, so that's okay.
Yeah.
Sent it to his mates. That's just freaking criminal.
Yeah.
And the fact that she still has to work with this person,
go and work with
it's
him.
like, this seems like totally go to jail type.
Was that
shit.
also the guy who took the photos of her?
No, that was someone else.
Oh, okay. So there's this other thing that happened where she took these kind of like underwear pics that she understood were like just kind
For
of,
his
for
portfolio.
private, and they ended up on his quote unquote R18 website.
And then they put them on the show.
And then they put them on the TV show.
So it's really hard to get a read on all of this stuff.
Yeah. It's really bizarre. And I think the whole build up to it was really weird as well. Like, I feel like there's a darkness there.
Yeah. There's a lot that needs resolving in it.
And I think Jordan was kind of like pretty overwhelmed, but I feel like he was mostly responding to the fact that he was like, shit, you're going to be in LA for like all this time. Also with this guy. With this guy who like,
we don't know is a revenge porn star or an old
just
flame,
a bad guy.
or a bad guy, or all of them.
Yeah. I don't know. Anna's so interesting.
Fuck yeah. And just good music.
Great music. If you haven't listened to the hits of Saxy yet, I did a rap, and Anna Saxton. I did a rap on the spin-off. Lipstick, great tune.
Lipstick, incredible tune.
Death to Rain.
Death to Rain, I think, is her masterpiece.
You think that's the one?
Because that was when she was like 17 or 18. And it's like, it reminds me of like Holy Ground.
Oh, yeah.
You know, on Red. Like, I really like the fact that she's basically got you can map her career against various sort of Taylor Swift moments. So there's that period where she couldn't quite decide. She's coming out of country, and am I going to be sort of a bit more rocky or poppy? And then she, and she on Red, she basically was doing both.
Yeah.
And then later in her career, she's like, I'm full pop, and then that's sexy. And it's
True.
And even like in terms of the production flourishes and the sort of sense of self in the song, it's all quite there. But I do not mind it. Like, it's very legitimately the kind of music I listen to for fun.
Yeah. So you think Randy Jackson's onto a good thing and his endorsement of sexy? I don't know.
I don't know what the relationship with Randy Jackson's like.
She's just been to the mansion. I think Randy Jackson's helping her
Or
get famous.
Is it just they've got a photo op? Like, I think it could just be that.
I don't know.
Just say his name 3 times. He doesn't appear.
Great song. Also, sex craze. Quote unquote, my emotions playing games and I'm stuck in a sex craze. And that's the tea.
Sex craze is just such a good title.
It's such a good title.
It sounds like a thing that people say, but I don't know if anyone's ever said it.
Those two words been put together before sexy.
Like, if you Google it, I'm sure that it doesn't exist.
It's like sex craze. Help? Oh, Google.
Doctor? Give me the news.
But yeah, it's good stuff. I like Anna and Jordan. I wish them well, but
Same.
I don't know if it's going to last very long.
I'd love to think, like, I want to live in a world where they grow old together. Like, can we put them both in that face app thing?
The old thing.
And then do a sort of a mock-up photo of them, like the Notebook kind of ending or something?
Yeah. I also have I've been sent a shocking photo of Jordan used to have an extremely long mullet, which I don't know what to do with, really. It's breaking news.
I think that's news, yeah.
I could put it in the corner at least.
Yeah, it feels like
It's pretty exciting. It's pretty long.
How long is long? Like, wow, that's...
halfway down his back.
Bloody hell.
It's really full on.
Good on her.
Ray and Jono or Rose and Christopher? Pick your poison. Rose and Christopher.
Okay.
Rose and Christopher, that guy that they went to visit, that crystal man.
How many bodies has he got?
Still alive. And he's doing weird stuff with amethysts.
I think that I mean, I know that it's not cool to say someone looks like a murderer, but he fully looks like a murderer.
No, he's just fine. He's just about chakras.
I don't know. Maybe he's fine.
It was. I'd be really interested to see what their like little black book of kind of hokey spiritual folk is over at Media X, because we've had the amazing woman that little Angie went to get the daggers, the invisible daggers pulled out.
Tarot man, Tarot Cash.
Tarot Cash.
You know that wasn't there like a tarot thing like in a caravan or something?
Yeah, they went to visit a psychic. That was Julia and old Tell It Like It Is, I think, last season. Went to a caravan psychic, and now this guy who's seemingly just doing it like in some kind of industrial space, like weird little corner office.
And I like that he's multidisciplinary, like he just does all the buzzy stuff.
What you got to do is you got to lie down, you got to put a towel on, you got to put a crystal on it.
But fair play to Christopher, who's otherwise one of the world's great dinguses. He went along with it, seemingly like gave it more of a crack than I reckon I probably would have.
Yeah, that's true. He did say, he's like, I'll give anything a crack. I wear triple denim or something like that.
Yeah, and I was like, man, you just...
Ain't nothing wrong with triple denim.
On you. But on Christopher, so much wrong.
I still think there's that weird, like, we're talking about that kind of Kiwi lad type, and how when I first met these characters, James was the one that I was kind of like, had that knee-jerk reaction to. But Christopher has that real insipid, like, maybe because it's older, because he wears, like, because he doesn't look like a bloke.
No.
I feel like he gets away with saying more of these shitty, just kind of undercurrent things. Like at the thing when he was like, oh, and time for the gay, how the gay's going, or whatever it was that he said. Like all these little... He said some terrible things.
Yeah.
Like when he's like, I meet people sometimes the old-fashioned way. I drag them home like a caveman.
I know!
Like, it's interesting that I feel like he kind of appears to. I don't think Ray gives him any rope at all, but appears to get away with it. I think people are fed up with this shit now.
Well, I think that he might have a very, like a sort of an on-camera and an off-camera self, and that's why the thing that's the swing vote for me was like when Ray called him out in that way about, like seemingly like having like sort of sex, like it was quite a sex workers and what have you on some previous stag that they all fucking went to town on. It was kind of hard to read because everyone was so fucked.
Yeah.
But the fact that, so Ray said all that stuff and it was clearly like too much, even if they were probably broadly sympathetic to Christopher being a dick. But then James was like, I was there with Ray and I wanted to back him up. That to me, like when we haven't seen anyway anything that Christopher's done to James to sort of justify that. Yeah. And I'm like, that alliance doesn't seem natural unless Christopher really is quite a poisonous character.
Yeah, true. Was just another great example of like us having to try and corroborate these random allegations being thrown around about things that happened on this show with this cast that we will never see.
It's so bizarre, eh? That just every year they're just like, well, that's how we make it. It's
theatre of the mind. the whole season.
So yeah, Christopher and Rose. Rose is like sweet, but it's almost like there's no good outcome for this, so what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. She's very committed to talking about how much she's not attracted to him and will never be.
Yeah.
That's her main
I like that when she does
focus.
That's that bit that she does of just, he's lovely, but he just sexually disgusts me. Is basically the vibe.
Oh, dear. And it was funny at the, Christopher got a bit hit up at the, what is it called? The couchy talkie.
Catchy talkie, yeah.
And he's like, well, I'm just going to fire this first shot here. Bam! And opened his leave envelope. I was like, you can't just do that. You got to wait until you're invited to open the envelope.
Well, and also,
so to speak.
Close your envelope, Chris. We can see inside. Yeah, and it was also like, it's not a warning shot, because if she does it, it does the exact same thing as you. You're both dead from the shots.
Yeah.
Like it's like you don't understand what words are.
He doesn't know.
But the one thing I would say is he's got a fire at work, and that looks really cozy.
Oh, yeah, that man has been working his ass off.
I know. He's going so hard.
He's got so much to do. He does not have time to be on a TV show. I love a creative director. Okay, Ray and Jono. Wrap it up with the most dramatic couple of the week by far. There were so many incredible moments. The paid actor accusation and the dinner party.
Oh my God.
I thought, because I was like, okay, there's clearly so much going on with these two. I was like expecting to get a whole bunch of very real, tangible, understandable, like, problems, and this first thing was just like, you're a paid actor, you got a yellow gold ring and you got to take your shoes home.
That was actually like a bit sort of psychosis kind of vibe, like the yellow gold ring.
Yellow gold ring was
mystique.
real good.
I oscillate so hard with these two. Like for the first episode, I was like, Jono is sweet and Ray is a maniac.
Yeah.
By the end, I was like, Jono is but sort of in the middle, I was like, Jono is a psychological torturer. He is gaslighting out of this world to this like poor defenseless Ray. And then by the end, I'm like, maybe Ray is like kind of too hard work.
Yeah.
It's really...
Well, we know now, definitely. You know what's happening next week, right?
Well, I know that there was the flash forward of the like he's been out pashing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But how, like, that was a friend who told him that. Like, what kind of friend of Ray's has been like, hey...
No, but remember Jono was like, I opened my eyes at 4 a.m. and there was a literal gay man in my room. Not a metaphorical gay man.
Yeah, but that could just be a friend of Ray's.
No, it could
that
be.
He's brought back to the apartment and he's wandered into the wrong room. Like, I'm just trying to not believe Jono as of right, you know?
Right. The paid actor. I feel like your tinfoil hat right now.
Really? Do you think there's just no way that Ray isn't bad?
I think they're both... I think they're just on different planets.
No, I think I understand what you're saying. Like, basically that this show requires a particular sort of commitment to something that certainly at this point, like he certainly can't give it with Jonathan, who like they're so wildly incompatible in terms of their lifestyle and values, and the way that Jono talks about him as if he's like a sort of combination of like a puppy who can't stop shitting inside and a child who, like, you know, leaves their scooter at school and means that, well, this was what my children have to do all the time. It's super annoying. But, you know, the point being that, like, it's just, he doesn't talk about him remotely as an equal. It's always with this immense amount of condescension. And you can tell that is something that Ray has suffered from in his life and doesn't respond well to.
Yeah.
And that's where I feel like there's something like queasy about them being on the show together.
Even their little interactions, which the experts interpreted when they first arrived at the dinner party as like probably the most united we saw them at all this week. And like Ray went to get a drink and you could just hear Jono be like, oh, bourbon and coke already, is it? You know, like there's just these little, and they see that, they're like, oh, banter. And I'm like, fuck, if I heard that, that's not banter. That's like total like judgment, passive aggressive. Yeah. So I just think they're in different worlds, and
I think Jono's an asshole. I'm sorry. Like when he went and met with those, well, like his friends, and was just like awful about Ray. Like,
he's very good friends with Simone Anderson, who came out swinging on her Instagram story, but it did a big long spiel about Jono. Friends of Ray have done the same. It's that thing of like, I don't know. I feel like they're both probably fine. They think they definitely believe themselves to be fine. They just shouldn't have been matched together and probably should have gone on the show, but
that's what happened.
We thought it was going to be great.
Yeah.
We thought it was going to be great night one, but it's
a real horror show.
It's a real horror show. But coming out next week, we're going to see them probably properly fall apart, I believe.
Yeah, I think that could be quite an explosive bit.
My favourite bit, though, is seeing Ray, like, clearly had just kind of come home, sleeping on the couch. And Jono starts pulling up the blinds. But the fact that Ray just has that little stumpy soda stream bottle next to him, I just find so, like, crushing. Like, in the worst situation, but you still got to have that little fucking sponsor nightmare next to you.
Credit to SodaStream, eh? They have toughed out some shit.
They really
season.
have.
And at the end of it, you see that lady with the completely improbable claim that you're saving 2,000 bottles. Who's drinking 6 bottles of plastic water a day? Every day.
That's right.
Never missing.
Did the maths on that.
It's wild.
That's crazy. She's probably a paid actor. Oh, dear. Anything else to talk about? It's 12:01.
Oh, shit.
It's time to strike. It's time to go on strike.
Should we just go on strike?
Let's just go on strike. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Sorry for another shambles pod. Jane will be back next week and everything will be fine. Are you here next week?
Yeah, I'm here for until November.
Next week? I think so. Tina, are you here next week? Oh, no.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Tina's here and hopefully you'll be here and Nando's will be here too. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.
How do we end it? Bye.
Hello. If you don't mind, we just want to have a quick word about the spin-off members. It's a new initiative designed to facilitate the most important but sadly hard to fund journalism. By becoming a member, you'll be supporting the hiring of more journalists and you'll have your say in directing new areas of coverage here at the spin-off. You can choose your level of contribution, and if it happens to be $80 or more, you'll receive a copy of the spin-off's inaugural book and a tote bag. Help shape the spin-off by becoming a member. Visit thespinoff.co.nz/members.
Are you curious about how business can be better? I'm Simon Pound, and I host Business is Boring, a podcast where I caught it all with some of the most interesting people in entrepreneurship, commerce, and making things happen. Tune in to Business is Boring every Tuesday, brought to you by the Spin-Off Podcast Network in partnership with Spark Business Lab.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Grieve, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spin-Off Podcast Network.